Good evening and welcome to the Planning Commission meeting of Monday, April 24th, 2023. I now call the meeting to order. And I will ask Vice Chair Toller to lead us in the Pledge of Allegiance, please.
I pledge allegiance
to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Thank you, Vice Chair. Anna, can we do the roll call, please?
Chair Arith,
Present.
Vice Chair Toller,
here.
Commissioner Rojas,
Present.
Commissioner Zick,
Here.
Commissioner Andrade,
Here.
Commissioner Vivar,
Present.
Commissioner Tabor.
Here.
All right, thank you very much, Anna. We have no announcements or presentations this evening, which brings us to public comments. These are for matters not listed on the agenda. And I will now open public comment. If you'd like to speak, please come to the podium. Or if you're participating via Zoom, please use the raised hand option at the bottom of the screen. Or if you're joining on phone, you can press *9. And we'll start here in chambers. Yes, ma'am.
My name is Wendy Samo. I'm going to be here about Gym 12 at 140 17th Street. So their CUP, in July, it got established in 1992. It said bi-yearly that it's supposed to be reviewed. Whenever it got updated, I never read where it just did that. So I called you guys, the Planning Commission, and said, what do I have to do to make sure that they make their gym have their base inside? And you guys told me to call code enforcement. Code enforcement says I'm supposed to call you guys. So if we could possibly, review this gym, that'd be great, because they do produce a lot of base at 5, 6 o'clock in the morning. And on the weekends for 4 hours in the morning, we have to deal with it. I mean, we don't care that there's a gym there, but we should not be required to have to listen to their base at all. I now have to take a medicine I haven't had to take in 20 years because I'm constantly having to listen to base, So something really needs to be done about it. That'd be great. If you guys could, my email is wendyisrockstar@gmail. If you just want to reach out to tell me how to fix this, that's great. If you need signatures, I can get you signatures. There's already been a petition filed. It's been lost somehow, but the gym knows all about the petition. Speaking of the gym, I did reply on social media and said, why do you support this gym whenever you can hear it as you walk up to this gym? And the gym owner told me that if I did not like the base, that I could move. And I really don't want to move. So, I don't understand why this gym owner, and in your codes and laws and everything, it says that they can't knowing and willfully, create sound, and they know they're doing it. Whenever they open their gym door to let us hear their workouts, they knew they were doing it. They knew we could hear it, so I don't understand what's not being communicated here. Have a great day.
Thank you for your comment. Ms. Spadoni.
It's been a long time since I've been in Planning Commission, but as I just spoke with the chair, there's issues that are coming up in these upcoming months and years in the next election, so you'll probably be seeing me here a lot, maybe every meeting. But what I want to talk about today is, the voters of Costa Mesa got played with Measure K, lost by 22 votes, and there was a lot of shenanigans that went on with it. The residents of California are getting played right now by Sacramento with their insane RHNA numbers, destroying the cities from Oregon border to the Mexican border. Every city in our state has been betrayed by Sacramento and the representatives that are up in Sacramento. So no city in California has the ability to decide their own zoning, building, projects and growth. Sacramento is not approving housing elements. Now we're in the realm of builders' remedies. Now we're seeing cities that are, popping up 46-story projects like poisonous mushrooms in Santa Monica, La Cañada, Flint Ridge, cities that have been communities, homes, and neighborhoods. If Sacramento wants affordable housing, enough then send the money. We'll find room for affordable housing. But 12,000 units and an influx of 33,000 people in a city with no consideration of infrastructure, I mean, that's just plain insanity. What we need is to go back and determine what we need and to move up. We need low-income housing. Nobody is arguing that fact. But with low-income housing, we're going to get a massive amount of market housing. And what you don't want is the housing to go up. Well, that's exactly what's going to happen, because no developers are going to build for something for no profit. And Sacramento wants affordable housing enough, they need to cough up the money. We can do the rest. But to throw our whole system into a wild, wild west with the developers calling the shots because of generous political contributions, much like the $150,000 that was given for K in our own city, to their own benefit, not for the benefit of the residents. Cities need control, not Sacramento to tell them what they need to do and their developer contributions. The 12,000 units demanded and only 4,000 low-income units, that's just not right. A statewide initiative is in the making. This will be statewide, it's having a lot of traction, and it's going to start moving probably around July 1st. It's going to force these crackpot politicians in Sacramento. It's a statewide group. It needs everyone to understand what's happening to every city in our state. Go online to ourneighborhoodvoices.com. Get updated. The city you save may be your own, may be Costa Mesa. This is not a Republican issue. This is not a Democratic issue. It's your neighborhood, your city. It's time for you to become aware and take power back from the state. We can run our own city. We can make our own decisions. Thank you. I'll be back.
Thank you. Does anyone else in chambers wish to speak on items not listed on the agenda? Seeing none. Anna, if we could go to Zoom
No, there's not, Mr. Chairman.
or telephone.
No, there's not.
All right. We'll now close public comments, and this brings us to Planning Commissioner comments and suggestions, starting with Commissioner Tabor. Commissioner Vivar.
Yeah, just wanted to thank those who spoke at our meeting tonight. We do appreciate when citizens are here to share their concerns with us, as well as to comment on items on our agenda, as well as those of City Council and committees. So thank you to those also listening online. And I went to the Costa Mesa Earth Day event this past weekend on Saturday, which was a blast. It was really big. I attended the one last year, and this one was definitely bigger, very well attended. And it was great to see some of my colleagues there on the commission, as well as my colleagues on council and staff who were there as well. So it was great to see a lot of participation from city officials, as well as many, many residents who were there, a lot of nonprofits that were also there sharing about their work and the services they offer. And so it was just a great opportunity to come together as a community and learn more about how we can become more environmentally conscious as individuals and as communities, and what part we can play in making sure that we are using the natural resources that we have in a responsible manner. So just wanted to give a big shout out to staff that put that wonderful event together. I am sure it took a ton of planning to put that event together and to pull it off, and it was a great success, and I look forward to future Earth Day events at the city of Costa Mesa. And that's it for me, Mr. Chairman. Thank you.
Okay, thank you, Commissioner Vivar. Commissioner Rojas.
I have no comments, thank you.
Okay, thank you. Commissioner Zick.
I've got a question following up on Wendy's comment concern. First of all, the question, is Gym 12 operating under a CUP?
That's correct.
And is that something that you could provide at least me a written copy of prior to our next meeting?
Sure.
Thank you very much. That's all I've got.
All right, thank you, Commissioner Zick. Commissioner Andrade.
Yeah, I think just to follow up on Commissioner Six, yeah, I would be interested in how can we help assist those local neighbors in that area that are affected by sounds. I know I certainly would not want to be woken up at 5 a.m. on any day with loud music. So any way we can support that community would be great. Other than that, just echo Commissioner Vivar's comments. Earth Day was a fantastic event. Really did enjoy it for my family. Lots of great learning. Only thing, and just chatting here with my commissioners about it, I mean, it would be great to have some of these small businesses that maybe are coming through our department to be included that are within that realm. I'm not sure that the Parks Department is fully plugged in on those, so that it could be a greater collaboration. There's some great small businesses that are focused on green efforts. And then finally, there is, for anyone that is interested, I've learned that there is an upcoming Costa Mesa Chamber event that is happening, I believe, this week on Thursday. So if anybody's interested to really know what's coming in from the business perspective that is interesting in applying to our city, I think that's something that would be great and informative. That's all.
Great, thank you, Commissioner Andrade. And just to comment real quick on your observation, I can't remember what I saw on social media, but I think it's a joint chamber event with Newport Beach and Costa Mesa at Time Nightclub, I think. I don't know.
Yes, I know it's at the nightclub.
Okay.
But I didn't realize that. Yeah, that's great to know that it's a collaborative effort to see where there's some alignment between the two cities.
Okay, great. Thank you so much. Vice Chair.
Thank you. I will also throw my hat in the ring and say I'm a fan of regulating amplified sound, especially when it's in proximity to where people live. So whatever we can do. I know we've gone out there and worked on that before, but let's keep trying to resolve that. Also, in response to the last public comment, she left, so I can't ask what the actual request of hers is of the Planning Commission, but she's right. There is a lot of housing coming to Costa Mesa, and there's a lot of new population coming to Costa Mesa. And the state's doing what the state's doing, and we have to figure out how to roll with it and do the best with that. So my standing rhetorical question until we get there is, what are we doing now to ensure that it comes in well? So a lot of cities have objective design standards because we do have control over design still to some extent. That's one thing. Another thing is in thinking about how all these new residents are going to be getting around. So what are we doing now before these people start signing leases to make Costa Mesa a place where car-free or a car-light lifestyle might be more doable, more possible? Because now is the time to do that before our population increases in double-digit percentage points. And related to that is our streets that these new developments are going to be on. Harbor Boulevard, Newport Boulevard, these big arterials. Developers are not going to want to put ground floor units, ground floor retail, nice big lobbies. They're not going to want to have active frontages on 6-lane roads at 45 miles an hour. That's something to think about. We have to figure this out ahead of time. So I applaud our Public Works Department that's doing a lot to help. And I mean, we're planting a bunch of street trees on Placentia. We're doing traffic calming bike lanes, which is indirect sort of traffic calming. And this is a really big deal because the future of our corridors. You imagine the future of what Harbor looks like one day in 50 years from now, or 75 years from now. Newport Boulevard, Fairview. If they're going to be lined with walls, because every developer just was not about to lease, didn't want vacant storefronts on those streets, didn't want, hard to lease units on those streets, and just puts up a wall and has these inward oriented development, that's just going to keep happening, and then you can't fix it. And then what's the point of fixing the street? Then it's just a traffic sewer. So those are the things we need to figure out now. So I applaud Public Works for doing everything we're doing, and I hope we keep those questions in mind. That's all. Thank you.
Okay, thank you, Vice Chair. See, as for me, I think I will start out with extending a warm welcome to our at-large Parks Commissioner, Cheyenne Wright, who's sitting in the back this evening. So if Parks wasn't enough, she wants to join us this evening as well, so welcome. I participated in a few events since our last meeting, starting with joining the Banning Ranch Conservancy for a non-native plant pulling in Fairview Park a couple Saturdays ago. It was a wonderful event, cleared out a bunch of the non-native mustard on the east side of the west side of the park, I should say. And I was accompanied by Chair Cassius Rutherford from the Parks Commission as well. So we pulled up a bunch of weeds. That was really fun. I encourage everyone to go out and do the same. This last Saturday, like several of my commissioners, I also went to the Earth Day event here at the city, and it was an absolute blast. I think a couple of my favorite moments, in addition to all of the sustainability and environmentalism that was present across all the vendors and with the city, was the Soy musicians. So we had a few of the kids from Soy who were playing live music, and they were absolutely excellent. So the music program there seems to be going really well, and I encourage them to come out again. And then also, I think it was the musician Linda Kramer, who is also a part of the Climate Reality Project. She was fantastic, singing a bunch of good folk music, and it was just a wonderful day. So if you're looking to get involved, the city has a lot of stuff going on, especially as we go into summer. So keep that in mind and look for your booklet in the mail talking about all the programs that we have coming up. And then finally, today, just before this meeting, I attended the Costa Mesa Sanitary District Board meeting. They have some interesting stuff going on, especially with their capital improvements, and I encourage you to go out and see that as well. So with that said, that's it for my comments. And that brings us to the consent calendar. And I see we have 2 consent calendar items tonight. And I guess we could read the first one into the record if you would, please, Anna.
Consent calendar item number 1, January 24th, 2022, unofficial meeting minutes.
Okay, thank you very much. Commissioners, do you have any comments or questions, revisions? All right. May I have a motion, please? I'll make the motion to approve the minutes as written. Is there a second? Seconded by Vice Chair Toller. I have no comments on the motion.
No comments.
Okay, no comments. Any other comments? Seeing none, Anna, we can come to the roll.
That motion carries 6-0 with Commissioner Tabor abstaining.
Okay, thank you very much. And if we can go to the second consent calendar item.
Just one moment.
Sure.
Consent calendar item number 2, March 27th, 2023, unofficial meeting minutes.
Okay, thank you. Commissioners, do you have any comments, revisions? All right, seeing none. May I have a motion, please? Motion made, if you can hit it one more, I saw you hit it. Motion made by Commissioner Vivar. What is your motion?
My motion is to approve the minutes as is.
Okay. And I see it popped off again if you want to hit it one more time. Okay. Is there a second? Second by Commissioner Tabor. Would you like to speak to your motion?
No comment.
Okay. Commissioner Tabor.
No comment.
Okay. All right. If we can come to the vote.
That motion carries 7-0.
All right. Thank you very much. All right. This brings us to public hearing items. And we have 2 public hearing items this evening. And Anna, if you'd please read the first title.
Public hearing item number 1, planning application 22-41 for a cannabis non-storefront retail delivery facility, OCM Ventures Inc. at 3505 Cadillac Avenue, Unit M102. Please note we have not received public comments on this item. This is a call for any ex parte communications.
All right. Commissioner Rojas?
I have none.
Okay. Commissioner Zick? Commissioner Andrade?
None.
Okay. Vice Chair?
Nope.
Commissioner Vivar?
No.
Commissioner Tabor? None. And I have none as well. So I will now turn it over to Mr. Ackes to present the item.
Good evening, Commissioners. Patrick Ackes, Assistant Planner with the Planning Division. The item before you is a conditional use permit to establish and operate a cannabis non-storefront retail facility within an existing 1,800 square foot tenant space. Specifically, the operation would be under the state license type 9, the non-storefront retailer. This would include no distribution or manufacturing and not open to the public. So it would be packaged goods delivered to the facility and then dispatched to customers directly. This process is allowed under Measure Q that was approved by the voters in June of 2021. Cannabis uses in the city go through a comprehensive and rigorous process before they get to you. They start with the cannabis business permit. After that, the notice to proceed with background checks and other verification of documents and for review. The step we're on now is the conditional use permit. If approved, the applicant would move on to secure building permits and issuance of the CBP and business license. The project is located on the west side of Cadillac Avenue, near the westerly terminus of Sunflower Avenue. This area is commonly known as the Green Zone. Specifically, the project is located in a industrial research park that contains 230 square feet of office area. The subject property is zone PDI, and the land use designation is industrial. This is the existing building M that would house the proposed operation. There are numerous approved cannabis uses already operating within building M and a few more proposed, including the one before you, as outlined in table 1 of the report. Here's a look at the site plan. The subject suite is noted in orange. The loading and unloading area is 2 spots directly in front of the exit, approximately 102 linear feet from the door. There would be a total of 4 vehicles used by staff. The other 2 vehicles would be parked in the adjacent parking area. The applicant intends to employ around 8 staff, some of which will be transplanted from an Oakland office. So they already have knowledge of these operations, and it's anticipated to go smoothly. Here's a look at the floor plan. In blue are the cannabis-specific uses, including storage, delivery, sorting, and unloading. Other areas in the suite are dedicated to administrative areas, such as common areas, offices, restrooms, and secure rooms. Importantly, there will be no change to the existing square footage, and limited tenant improvements are proposed. There would not be any exterior changes with the exception of required security cameras. Both the interior and exterior would be monitored and under surveillance. A business plan was provided and professionally prepared by the applicant and certified by the city's consultant, HDL. In it included the owner experience, proof of capitalization, pro forma, and day-to-day operations. Due to proprietary reasons, that report is not available and was not included in the staff report. A security plan was also provided that evaluated the operation under state and city requirements, which was also certified by the city consultant. At the time the building permit is issued, the city's consultant does do an on-site inspection to ensure everything that was detailed in the security report was implemented. There are more than 45 standard conditions of approval related to Measure Q that are included as part of this project. For example, order control, renewal of the CBP permit, record keeping and remitting taxes to the city. With these conditions, the project is expected to comply with all city regulations and be harmonious with surrounding tenants and the neighborhood. With that, staff does recommend that the Planning Commission find the project exempt from CEQA and approve the application with the conditions. Alice Lynn of the applicant team is here and available for questions, and I am also happy to answer any questions you have.
All right, thank you, Mr. Ackes. Really appreciate it. Commissioners, do you have any questions for staff on this item? All right, I don't think I do either. So thank you, Mr. Ackes. That's great. I will now open the public hearing and ask the applicant or the applicant's representatives to come up. And if you would, please state your name for the record. Let us know if you have read either side will be fine. If you could please state your name for the record, let us know if you've read the staff report and the conditions of approval, and do you agree with them?
Good evening, Chamber. My name is Kushal Raz. I am the CEO of OCM Ventures. This is my colleague, my business partner.
I'm Osama Raza. I'm the COO.
Yeah, we just flew down from Alameda County today just to participate in this evening's commission, and we're excited to bring our operations to Southern California. We've been in the cannabis space since 2019. In the heart of Oakland, where there's rapid crime, and our whole objective is to just become establish ourselves within this new community, create jobs, as well as provide the community with clean, safe, legal, and tested cannabis. I have my inventory manager here as well, Mr. Ken Gary. If you'd please step on up here. And quality control is our #1 priority. We create profiles for every single individual that does shop with us through the Weed Maps platform or on our website directly. Our age demographic, ranges from 21 to 75, 80, so it's pretty vast. In terms of our current setup in the Bay Area, we service Santa Clara County, Alameda County, Contra Costa, as well as San Mateo, I believe. Yeah. And we look forward to replicating that model down here. And yeah, we do consent. We have reviewed the commission's proposal, and we do agree to the terms.
Okay, great. Thank you so much, Mr. Bruns. Commissioners, do you have any questions of the applicant, starting with Commissioner Zick?
Thank you. Thank you, Mr. Kushal.
Kushal Raz, yes, sir.
Thank you. Couple of questions for you.
Yes, sir.
First of all, I was curious about the way customers will become aware of you,
Okay.
Since you're non-storefront retail. And at first I thought if you had a website, how would they even know such a thing existed? But you mentioned Weed Maps. Could you enlighten me more?
Yeah, so on, since we are not open to public, it's kind of difficult, gaining clientele. So what we need to do, since there's no physical presence, we need to capitalize with pre-established avenues of where consumers shop, such as Weed Maps, which is like the equivalent to like Yelp or like a DoorDash.
Google Ads.
That is where we can create an online presence. Outside of that, Google Ads, and there's also Leafly, and social media such as Instagram presence and whatnot. And in terms of the certain companies, our partners whom we work with that are very established, and not only Orange County, but state of California, and if anything, multi-state, such as like, Stizzy, et cetera, they also advertise that, we are an authorized retailer within a certain city limit, and we carry their product line. So there's multiple different avenues of how we go about gaining leads and then creating and converting those leads to clientele. We have an ID scanning software. So consumers sign up on Weed Maps, they create a profile, they upload their ID. If they're a medical patient, they not only upload their ID, but their medical recommendation as well. You could verify any medical recommendation. Clients can have a medical recommendation from a private practice or from their local county, California Department of Public Health office, which if they had that type of a medical recommendation, they would be exempt from sales tax. So, yeah.
Thank you for that answer. I have another question for you.
Yes, sir.
Patrick, if you could bring up the floor plan that you had in your presentation. Yeah, thank you very much. So my question was more along the lines of process flow and material handling logistics. I look at this and I'm sort of baffled by it. To go between your cannabis storage and your delivery sorting rooms, you got to go through 4 doors. And it seems like, especially for a non-storefront retail business, the heart of what you do is handle material before it goes out the door. And I look at this floor plan and I'm baffled by it. Could you help explain to me how this makes sense?
Yeah, so cannabis sorting and unloading. So that first room is where we will intake a transfer of goods from a licensed distributor. We would want, obviously, cameras, wide space. We have to account for every single product which we intake. Sometimes there may be discrepancies and whatnot in terms of on the distribution end. For example, we may order 16 units of something and it might not be as fulfilled.
So let me interrupt you so that I can make sure I'm understanding your question. So in terms of product delivery, it comes through your front door.
Yeah.
It goes through the break room, into the hallway, and then into your sorting and unloading room. Am I following that process right? Product comes in your front door, goes through the break area, into the hallway, and then into your sorting room. I'm not criticizing, I'm just trying to understand.
The common area, we could.
I'm not asking you to change anything. I'm just making sure I understand what you're doing, and I want to get some sense of why.
So we have only one front door, right? So that room where it says cannabis delivery, sorting, unloading. So we're going to use that obviously for storage and also unloading whenever vendors will drop off product.
Now, how do they get in the building?
They get
where it
through the
says
front
entry?
through a front door. There's only one entrance and exit, which is that front door.
Right.
That's what and the way to enter to that sorting and unloading room, you have to walk through the break room.
Through the break room.
There's no other way. So you have to go through there.
And why'd you set it up that way?
Because it's closest to the front entrance.
Yeah. It was the largest room.
Are you doing remodeling, or are these existing walls and you're living with it?
This is the existing build out as we, from the day we took over the unit.
So you're not planning on doing much tenant improvement?
No.
Okay.
Yeah.
Then you've answered my questions.
Okay.
Thank you very much.
Thank you. All right.
Okay, thank you, Commissioner Zick, and thank you, Mr. Roz and team. Any other commissioners wish to ask any questions of the applicant? Commissioner Vivar.
Yeah, thank you for your presentation to us, and I just want to ask quick questions. So you mentioned that you are leaving Oakland, is that correct? Are you moving your entire operation down here, or are you just transferring a few staff members down to Costa Mesa for this?
So we have one individual who, one of my managers from Northern California moving down here, who is actually from Southern California. But no, this would be separate from our Oakland division, a total new branch. Yeah, so.
And would this be your first operation in Southern California then?
In terms of, yes, yes.
Okay. And so you seem to be a small operation. Are you going to stay at 4 delivery vehicles? And I'm just trying to figure out, I guess, I don't know, business reasons or what it would have been for you to come down here to Costa Mesa specifically, since I believe that the Green Zone has many other distributors, some that are a bit bigger. So I'm just kind of trying to figure out kind of the reasoning behind coming down here and what kind of competitive advantage you think you'll have.
Okay.
Well, we chose Costa Mesa because, I mean, look at it, it's a beautiful place. We feel like there's like a lack of cannabis deliveries out here, and I feel like we can definitely do better over here. And we kind of wanted to get away from the Bay Area. We're from the Bay Area, so we wanted to kind of like find a second home, and I don't know, Costa Mesa was like the next step for us. We wanted to stay away from LA. There was too much traffic, too much stuff going on, so yeah, we chose Costa Mesa. And as far as 4 vehicles, like that's when we first start as 4 vehicles, but after a while, once we ramp up, we're gonna probably have 15 to 20 vehicles.
Like in particular, like with regard to our Oakland operation, when we first started, we had started with 6 employees, 4 vehicles. COVID happened, lockdowns, all 5 Bay Area counties shut down, and I'm assuming the whole state did. And, business skyrocketed from there. We went from 6 employees to reaching 25 employees at our peak. And we have over 15 vehicles up in Oakland right now. So our growth rate was phenomenal. And, we have a solid clientele, and we know what we're capable of, and we're and we like the Orange County market. And I mean, we feel like we could bring our talent down here as well. So we would love to service this community.
All right. Mr. Chair, I have a question that just popped up that I'd like to ask staff from based on the applicant's response to me. Okay. So, staff, I was wondering, since I don't remember the specifics of this square area footage, but I think that 15 vehicles would probably be above the required park space for this site. So in order to have more vehicles than the code requires for parking, would they need to park off-site, or would they need a CUP amendment to be able to add more parking to their as their business model on site?
Commissioner Vivar, it's a great question. There is a condition of approval included, number 4 specifically, that talks about any change in operational characteristics being subject to planning division review and possibly requiring an amendment, which of course would go back to the planning commission or the zoning administrator, depending on the change. Right now, the project does reflect 4 vehicles, so that is what they would be locked into. So any increase of that number would be subject to review and an amendment.
So if I understand this correctly, even if the increase is by 1 vehicle, that would come back to us, the planning commission?
That's correct. That would be considered a significant change in operations.
I see. All right. Interesting to know. All right. That's it for me, Mr. Chairman, and thank you to Mr. Russo and Ross and his team. So thank you all.
Okay. Thank you, Commissioner Vivar. Any other commissioners wish to speak? If you guys could stay up real quick.
Yeah, I do have a couple of questions, just to clarity's sake, because the more I look at this map, guys, the more I'm trying to figure out, okay, how does this thing work? So,
Okay.
first of all, two questions.
Yes.
Of your Northern California operations, is that strictly delivery or is that a retail and delivery?
So our operation in Northern California, we have a micro business license, which is vertically integrated. So we have a distribution license, a non-volatile manufacturing type 6 license, as well as non-storefront retail delivery type 9, all under our C12, which is the micro business umbrella. In terms of our current operation, our strongest element of our micro business is our retail delivery. In terms of our analytics, like we have people visiting our website from, Northern California, Los Angeles County, San Diego County, Orange County, New York. So we have that data that shows, where interests are coming from. But in terms of up there, that's what we do. We have a micro business.
Okay.
Yep.
And then the next thing is, I'm looking at this map here, and I'm looking
Yes,
at
sir.
that lower section where it says cannabis delivery, sorting, and uploading, or unloading.
Yes, sir.
But I'm not seeing the direct entrance there. It seems to be the entrances to as this map says on the right. So is it they come in that ways, go through 2 rooms, through the break room, into that area?
For the time, yeah.
Okay, it's like a horseshoe then.
I know, yeah. There's
Okay.
there's a lot of barrier walls in the premise, and that's how we inherited the building, and that's where we're at right now, and yeah.
Okay, I just wanted to.
That's what we're working with, yeah.
It's a little weird, but I mean, Chairman Zick's,
We'll make it
Commissioner
work.
Zick's question made me think, wait a second, am I looking at this wrong? I thought I was looking at it differently, but.
Not a
No,
problem.
I get it. So it's almost like a H. It's a horseshoe to get in, and then the storage is the top part,
Yeah,
right?
right.
And if I may clear up some confusion on the floor plan, that entrance is also shared by the tenant above. So you'll see that they take access to the stairwell, which is in the darker gray. So that entry room is shared by 2 tenants, including the subject project.
It's kosher, yeah.
Wait, say that again. The entrance room is shared?
That's correct. The entry is a common area. So to the left, that dark gray, that's a stairwell up to
Got
the
it.
tenant above.
Okay, I see where okay. So it's not that much of an H, it's more like an R. Okay, got it. Thank you both for that.
No worries.
Thank you,
That's
Commissioner.
all I got.
Thank you, Commissioner Rojas. Any others? All right. Yes, Commissioner Andrade, if you want to.
Just a little bit more, if you can elaborate, because we're really excited to bring more employment opportunities for the local community. If you can share a little bit about the employees that you're bringing that is there like a recruitment process, or what's your process like?
So what's our recruitment process like? Go ahead.
We normally use like Indeed or ZipRecruiter,
Facebook job ads.
Facebook job ads. Also on our website, we do have like a careers tab where people leave their resumes. And yeah, that's how we pretty much recruit all their employees.
We run MVR checks on our drivers. We pull everyone's driving records just to make sure that they have no points and that they're safe behind the wheel. As you know, driving in general poses a risk. It's a liability, So we want to be as attentive of our drivers' driving records as possible. Like my colleague said, those are the avenues which we would post our job ads.
So in addition to those 8 experienced employees that are coming from Oakland, you will be hiring,
Of course,
offering additional opportunities?
100%, 100%.
Awesome. Okay,
Cool.
thank you.
Is that all, Commissioner? Okay, thank you. Any others? All right, I have, just following Commissioner Andrade's comments, I have a question for you that I have never asked a cannabis applicant before, so I hope you're ready.
Not a problem.
Okay. Are there certifications in this field for people who get into retailing cannabis or driving cannabis? Because I remember back in the late 90s, early 2000s, following the compassionate use measure, that a place like Oaksterdam University popped up, and it would train people from all the hands-on practical aspects of growing cannabis to distributing and so forth. So I don't even know if those things are around nowadays.
You know, if I could just step in, my name's Kent.
Hi,
I'm
Kent.
the manager at KZD or at Overland up in the Bay Area. And not to, you know, just diss Oaksterdam, but it wasn't really what they advertised it to be. So,
Well, I never took the course.
yeah, I never took the course myself, but I know people that have, and it kind of was, for lack of a better word, like a waste of time, man. So, yeah. For like getting into actual like botany stuff, you kind of still have to go the actual college route. So.
Yeah.
I would say, I mean, in terms of like certification needed for the space, I mean, in terms of being a driver, it's just maintaining a clean, you know, having a clean slate driving record, being defensive behind the wheel, being you know, and being as safe as possible. We do have, you know, outside of that, in terms of like inventory personnel, internal employees, they would have to take this course called the metric credential course. So they'd get credentialed for the state track and trace system in terms of like what to do when intaking a product, when moving a product from one room to the other, the designated rooms on file, which the state will have a record for. You know, if the product is damaged, how to go, or if a product, if there's no certificate of analysis lab report provided on the distributor end, what to do. So there's certain things like that, which I feel like are key, and anyone in management should partake in. So, or it would be a requirement on our end. So.
Okay. All right. Thank you very much. I think that's all for me. And seeing no other questions, I think you can all sit down. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Appreciate it.
Appreciate your time.
Thank you. I will now open up the public comments. If you'd like to speak on this item, please come to the podium. If you're in chambers, if you're on Zoom, you can use the raised hand option, or if you're on the telephone, you can press *9. We'll start here in the chambers. Yes, Mr. Fitzpatrick.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. Hey, just want to let you know that OC Normal is currently running an educational program, an 8-week program. It does end in a certificate, but it's really designed to accelerate the learning curve of folks that want to get in the industry and get educated. One of the youngsters that I am mentoring is knee-deep in it and fascinated and really likes it. I know we've talked to the chamber about helping out with hiring practices in the industry, and we're trying to push them to develop some sort of an education certification so that Costa Mesa residents have a pathway that they may not be as knowledgeable as they'd like, but are passionate about cannabis, to kind of enter from a great job and great matriculation into leadership. Thanks.
Okay. Thank you, Mr. Fitzpatrick. Anyone else in chambers? Yes, sir.
Hey, good evening. I'm Dr. Alexander Jacob Sweden. I'm a pulmonologist at Hoag Hospital. I'm the former chair of pulmonary at the University of California, Irvine. I was one of the directors of interventional pulmonology, where I was the leader in diagnosing lung cancer in the community in Olive Orange County. I moved my practice to Mesa Pulmonary, which is located at 136 Broadway, just about 500 feet from this new location. Marijuana is a very useful drug, excellent in palliation, end-stage lung cancer, and other various forms of cancer. Pain. It is very effective and better than most opioids that we're using, unfortunately, which is what has been the standard of practice. But unfortunately, along with marijuana, comes a habitual use of other practices. And I can speak to you on a plethora of diseases, including vaping-associated lung injury, a chronic obstructive pulmonary disease, which isn't isolated to only tobacco and nicotine use, but also to marijuana isolated. And that's not involving rolling Dutches of marijuana and tobacco in combination. But also the mental health of young teenagers that are exposed to this drug and the marketing habits that we utilize in our community, and the unrelenting amount of schizophrenia and underlying anxiety disorders that manifest as a result of early use of drugs such as marijuana. And so I'm not a great public speaker. It's not my forte. I'm a scientist. I led research on COVID-associated diseases. We published a book chapter recently on COVID and marijuana use, ironically. That was totally ironic and had nothing to do with the entity at the time. But I have to share with you my concerns about this business being opened close to a pulmonary office in Costa Mesa. Is that my time?
You have one more minute, or like 55 seconds.
And so I just come to share with you my concerns. I'm not a politician, I'm not an attorney, I don't know the law, but just as a small business owner that owns a piece of property that treats people with lung cancer, chronic obstructive pulmonary disease, asthma, and all the associated injuries associated with vaping, it obviously hurts me personally and my moral standards to see that a place of business such as a marijuana distribution plant being opened so closely to my place of practice where I take care of some of the most compromised people of Costa Mesa. And so I just wanted to share this with you and hope you all can understand my perspective, and not mine, but the patients' perspectives that are coming to my office and looking for care, especially given that we are the largest pulmonary practice in the city of Costa Mesa. We have the highest volume by far, where 4 different pulmonologists, including myself, practice out of. That's Dr. Lakshmi Shukla.
All right, thank you, sir. And if I could actually ask you just one quick question. I don't normally ask commenters this.
Sure.
Per your observations about COVID and marijuana use, have you published in a particular journal?
Yeah, we have actually.
Which one?
It's, oh my goodness. I'm blanking on the name.
I know there's so many.
There's a lot of medical journals. It was a COVID-related study book that was diagnosing all the various treatment modalities for COVID. And one of them was people who were using marijuana as a COVID modality. The other thing we published in that book was statins, atorvastatin, Lipitor, for example, which is a commonly used drug.
Sure.
That was the other chapter that we wrote in the book. But marijuana was another proportion. And all we just showed was that there was an increased risk of obstructive disease in marijuana users.
Okay. All right, thank you very much,
Yeah,
sir.
my
I
pleasure.
appreciate the follow-up. All right, anyone else in chambers wish to speak? All right, we'll move to Zoom.
No, there is not, Mr. Chairman.
Okay, how about telephone?
No, there is not.
All right. I'm going to close the public comment portion of the public hearing. And commissioners, do you have any further questions for the applicant? All right, seeing none. And I can ask the applicant to come back up again if you'd like and see if you have any closing comments.
Go for it. I greatly appreciate you guys having us here, and we look forward to working and opening up our operations to the city, and being of service to the city and the county in general. And thank you for your time. Thank you for your consideration.
All right, thank you very much, sir. You may take a seat. Commissioners, do you have any further questions for staff? Commissioner Bavar?
Yeah. So staff, if I remember correctly from the staff, from the report on this item, Building M has a number of other Measure X businesses. Are they all distribution? Is there any manufacturing going on in this business, in this building as well?
Thank you, Commissioner Vivar. Table 1 of the staff report lists the tenants and proposed tenants for Building M. So it does show that there are 2 approved manufacturing and distribution in M104 and M204.
Okay.
And then there are a few pending for manufacturing and distribution. That'll be M101.
Okay.
And then M21 is issued, but not, or actually, they're also operating as well. Sorry about that.
Were those CUP hearings within the last 2 years or so?
Yes, the last 2 or 3 years. The case number is the second to last column.
Okay.
Some of those numbers are from 2018.
Do we have any public comments on record for those items about the pulmonology practice representative that was here tonight to share concerns?
We would have to go back in the record and see if there are any public comments made on that.
Okay. That's it for Mr. Chairman. Thank you.
Okay, thank you, Commissioner Rivar. Thank you, Mr. Akis. Any others wish to? Okay. All right, with that, I will ask the commission for a motion.
I made the motions last time, so I'm waiting on my colleagues.
I'll make the motion. I'll make the motion to find that the project is categorically exempt from the provisions of California Environmental Quality Act, CEQA, per CEQA guidelines, section 15301, class 1 existing facilities, and approve planning application 22-41 subject to the conditions of approval as written. Is there a second? Second by Toller. I have no further comments on the motion. Do you, sir?
Yeah, just to address the doctor's helpful comments. Thank you for coming in, and that was all useful. This is ultimately a land use decision, and Measure Q was passed and implemented, and that's kind of come and gone. And so, while I personally am, I'm not a customer, my family are not customers of this industry, and I think that's something definitely worth thinking about and considering and talking about. But there's no smoking on site. This is not a manufacturing facility. It's right next to the freeway, which just got expanded. And so, with respect to those comments, I'm in favor of this motion to pass.
Okay. Thank you, Vice Chair. Do any other commissioners wish to speak to this item? Commissioner Zick.
Thank you. So I echo the comments from the Vice Chair. I respect that you are here. I respect your opinion. And I think similar types of opinions could be rendered by doctors if we were approving a donut shop or something, that is kind of widely recognized as being not the go-to place if you're interested in your health. But most things in moderation have been commonly accepted, not be harmful. So I do respect that you're here, and this is ultimately a land use decision. The findings that we have to reach in order to approve this have been met to my satisfaction. So, but I respect that you were here, and thank you.
All right, thank you, Commissioner Zick. Anyone else? Commissioner Vivar.
Yeah, I also want to thank the speaker from the pulmonary practice that was here tonight, offering his comments. As far as I know, the other units in this building are not doing any manufacturing, and I think that the regulations in place for controlling air quality and preventing any fumes or exhaust from any production processes, which again are not approved as part of this application tonight, would prevent any kind of spillover into adjacent units or buildings. However, in the case that you do detect anything in your site that you think is a problem, the CUP does have levers for you to be able to contact the city if there is a problem, which I don't think there will be and hope there won't be. But there is a way for you to reach out to the city if, again, there is an odor problem, and the city can come out and take measurements at your site and determine an appropriate action. But I too will be supporting the motion. Thank you.
Okay, thank you, Commissioner Vivar. Anyone else? All right, seeing none, I think I'll go ahead and wrap up the comments and circle back to the doctor. Thank you for being here this evening to make your comments. I have a doctorate in public health, So I think the follow-up question to you was out of curiosity to read the journals and to see what your findings are. So, okay. And you're welcome to email me. I think part of this position, I would say one of the primary roles of this position is to read the information that's in front of us extremely objectively. And as part of that discovery phase, it includes also reading the journals as well occasionally. So you're welcome to send anything you'd like to us to supplement that. So thank you. So with that said, Anna, if we can come to call the question.
That motion carries 6-1 with Commissioner Vivar voting no.
Right.
Sorry, I meant to vote yes. I clicked the wrong button.
Anna, is there, for the record, is there, or Director Drapkin, is there any issue, or City Attorney Preziosi, is there any issue if we retake the vote? Okay, can we retake it, please? Okay.
Apologize.
That motion carries 7-0.
All right, thank you, Anna. That decision is final unless appealed to the City Council within 7 days. Good luck. Thank you. And with that said, let's go ahead and take a short 5-minute break. Thank you all. Sorry for the mishap there. No, it's okay. Welcome back to the Planning Commission meeting of April 24th, 2023. I call the meeting back into order. And Anna, if you would, please read the title for the second public hearing item.
Public hearing item number 2, planning application 22-02 for a retail cannabis storefront business located at 1860 Newport Boulevard, Unit B, 1860 Newport Projects LLC. Please note, we have received public comments on this item and have provided them to the commission, and they have been made a part of the record. This is a call for any ex parte communications.
Okay, thank you, Anna. We'll start to my left, Commissioner Tabor.
No.
Okay, Commissioner Vivar.
Exchange an email.
I think your mic's off. All the way to the left. Bottom left. Yeah, right there. Yep, hit it again. Yep.
Yeah, I exchanged one email communication with the applicant's representative. That's it.
Okay, thank you, Commissioner Vivar. Commissioner Rojas?
I have none.
Okay, Commissioner Zick?
I exchanged an email with the applicant's representative as well.
Okay, thank you. Commissioner Andrade?
None.
Vice Chair?
None?
Okay. I received an email from someone on the applicant's team, but I held a call with Mr. Glue for about 5 minutes today, and that's all I have to report. So with that said, I will turn it over to Mrs. Halligan to present the item.
Good evening, Chair Arith and Commissioners. I'm Michelle Halligan, Contract Planner with the Economic and Development Services Department. Planning Application 22-02 is a request for a conditional use permit to establish a retail cannabis storefront at 1860 Newport Boulevard. The applicant is not proposing to offer delivery from this location. This is a map of cannabis storefront CUPs to date. The approved CUPs are shown in green. The project being presented tonight is outlined in blue. The applicant successfully completed the initial application steps, including the pre-application and cannabis business permit application, before submitting a CUP application. If the CUP is approved tonight, the applicant would next apply for building permits. The proposed storefront would be located at 1860 Newport Boulevard, as shown in the aerial and zoning map. The subject property is zoned C2, which is the general business district. There are other commercially zoned properties to the north and south. Triangle Square is located to the west across Newport Boulevard. There are residential properties to the east across an alley in the multiple family residential high-density zone. Existing development on the subject property is a 2,335 square foot, one-story commercial building. Here are some photos of the existing property. The building is oriented towards Newport Boulevard. There is an existing gated parking lot in the rear that is only accessed via an alley. The existing development is legal non-conforming in terms of setbacks, floor area ratio, and landscaping. The applicant proposes to improve landscaping conformance by adding planters throughout the parking lot, as well as improving landscaping in the planter boxes along Newport Boulevard. The building is separated from the nearest residential uses by a parking lot, vehicle gate, and alley. The shortest distance between the proposed storefront and a residence is approximately 130 feet. Based on the total square footage of the structure, only 9 parking stalls are required to meet the city's retail standard of 4 stalls per 1,000 square feet. The proposed 925 square foot storefront would need 4 stalls. The proposed parking plan includes 13 parking stalls. If the CUP is approved, the city will work with the applicant to identify an appropriate location for an outdoor bicycle rack that does not impede the sidewalk nor parking lot circulation. Here are conceptual images of the proposed exterior. The applicant would make minor upgrades to the building facade, such as green walls along Newport frontage. As proposed, the applicant would restripe the parking lot to meet current standards, add irrigated landscaping, including several trees to the rear, add a trash enclosure, security lighting, and new cameras, and replace chain link fencing with wrought iron fencing to match an existing vehicle gate. A preliminary photometric plan was provided. As conditioned, a final photometric plan would be reviewed during the plan check to ensure that lighting does not impact adjacent properties. This is the proposed floor plan. The proposed floor plan would feature 2 tenant spaces that share an internal hallway. The licensed premise would not include the shared hallway nor the shared employee restroom. The proposed storefront would be divided into 2 main areas, a retail sales area where customers are allowed, and the back of the house area where only employees with proper security credentials are allowed. Customers would enter and exit the retail sales area from Newport Boulevard or from a shared hallway. A greeter would be located by the customer entrances within the licensed premise to verify identification. Employees would enter and exit through one limited access door in the rear of the building. Vendors would only be allowed to enter the limited access door when accompanied by an employee with security clearance. All product loading and unloading would take place under camera surveillance. The applicant provided a detailed business plan that was evaluated by the city's cannabis consultant. The business plan describes the owner's professional experience, proof of capitalization, pro forma, and day-to-day operations. The applicant provided a professionally prepared security plan. Costa Mesa's cannabis consultant determined that the proposed security measures address city and state requirements. There are more than 50 standard conditions of approval for retail cannabis storefronts in Costa Mesa. For example, a security guard must be on site at all times, on-site consumption is prohibited, and there is a renewal process for cannabis business permits every 2 years. There are several site-specific conditions of approval designed to improve the compatibility between the proposed use and nearby residences. These include posting signs in the parking lot to remind customers to use consideration, limiting the hours the exterior trash can be used, requiring the vehicle gate to be closed between 10 p.m. and 7 a.m., and requiring employees to monitor the parking lot in addition to the guard. Staff recommends that the Planning Commission adopt a resolution to find that the project is categorically exempt from the provisions of the California Environmental Quality Act per CEQA Guidelines Section 15301, Class 1, Existing Facilities, and approve Planning Application 22-02, subject to conditions of approval. The applicant has also prepared a presentation. This concludes staff's presentation. I'm available to answer your questions.
All right, Ms. Halligan, thank you so much. Appreciate the presentation. I'm going to take the liberty of clearing something up that may have been an error that we've seen. If you turn to page 8 of the staff report, it says that the exiting in the building is unidirectional, so that everything goes back out to the parking lot. I believe the front door that's on Newport Boulevard is an entry and an exit as well. Is that right, Ms. Halligan?
Yes, thank you, Chair Arith. Customers would be able to enter the facility through either the shared hallway, there is a door in that location, as well as through doors fronting only Newport Boulevard.
Okay, thank you very much. I just wanted us to all be on the same page before we open up. Commissioners, do you have any questions of Ms. Halligan? Commissioner Vivar.
Yeah, I just wanted to, well, first of all, thank you for your presentation, and just wanted to ask a quick question about the language surrounding the, I guess you could say, barriers between the business and the residential areas, and one of the barriers that is called out is the vehicle gate, but as I understand it, it'll be this gate will be open for most of the day. So I was just wondering why the staff chose to include this as one of the barriers.
Thank you, Commissioner Vivar. So when we're looking at barriers between the licensed premise and the nearest residential uses, we're including the spaces in between. So that includes the parking lot. It does include that vehicle gate. The vehicle gate would be required to be closed between 10 p.m. and 7 a.m. But it's important that it's open during business hours, as that's the only way that that property has on-site parking. So whether or not this conditional use permit is approved, that is the on-site parking for that structure.
Okay. And I asked staff about this earlier, but I just wanted to ask it here as well for everybody to kind of be informed about this as well. But so the restriping work that will happen will remove one parking spot. Is that correct? Because of the trees and landscaping that will be added in the back, but the net number of vehicle parking spaces will be the same because of the bike rack.
So Commissioner Vivar, in this case, the existing striping is not to code. So when they restripe to meet our codes, they will have 13 vehicle stalls. And that's because the site is actually a little bit too narrow to meet transportation's requirements for a safe backup distance. So when they make some of those stalls 10 feet wide for maneuverability, they will lose a stall. But in this case, even with losing a parking stall, they still exceed the minimum. And so the applicant does not need that bike rack credit. We did go back and forth with transportation and with the applicant as well about some potential ways of getting a bike rack on that site. But the setback is so close to Newport Boulevard that if the CUP is approved, we'll continue those conversations with how to find the appropriate furniture. But they are not applying for that bike rack credit.
Okay, so assuming that space can be found for the bike rack, it will go in. But if, because I know in the sidewalk, you need to provide the 4 feet minimum for the ADA right of way. So I'm guessing that if that were to be impeded at all, then it would not go in the frontage along Newport Boulevard, but possibly in the back. Is that correct?
That is correct. The applicant did find an opportunity for a bike rack within the parking lot. But again, if the CUP is approved, transportation and planning would work with the applicant to see what could be done along Newport Boulevard without impacting the sidewalk.
Okay. And as part of the restriping, will repaving be part of the project or only restriping?
The condition reads restriping.
Okay. Okay. That's it for me, Mr. Chairman.
Okay. I will note, Commissioner Vivar, that we do have Mr. Thomas in the crowd if you wish to ask any questions for active transportation. Okay, thank you. Any other commissioners have questions for staff? All right, seeing none. I will now open the public hearing and ask the applicant to come up, please. And if you would, Mr. Glue, I don't think you need to state your name. But let us know if you have read the staff report and the conditions of approval, and do you agree with them, sir?
Yes, we have reviewed the conditions of approval and we agree.
Okay, great. The floor is yours.
Thank you. If you could put up our PowerPoint presentation, please. Thank you. Good evening again, honorable commissioners and staff. My name is Christopher Glue, and it is my privilege to present to you this evening on behalf of my client, Newport Leaf. Thank you to Michelle, of course, and all the staff that contributed to the presentation this evening. She did an excellent job of highlighting the project and addressing each aspect of our proposal. I will provide a brief supplemental overview for you, and then I have the entire ownership staff here. They're happy to address any questions you may have. If you could go to slide 1, please, Michelle. The project is located at 1860 Newport Boulevard on the northbound side. The site is ideally situated in a business strip, including our direct neighbors, a restaurant, jewelry store, and cycling studio directly across from Triangle Square. The goal for this location was to modernize the property, improve site circulation, add California drought-tolerant landscaping, and significantly reduce the floor space to below 1,000 feet. If you could go to slide 2, please, Michelle. This application is in fact unique. We believe Costa Mesa has the first and most successful woman-led Measure X brand. And now Costa Mesa will have the first known woman-owned, woman-led Southern California cannabis retail store. When the team was brainstorming a business model to be competitive in the cannabis retail industry, they talked about their collective experience and what they wanted to accomplish. Where they all came together was around the idea of a woman-owned, woman-led business. Newport Leaf is a cannabis retail store located in the high-visibility downtown area of Costa Mesa. Newport Leaf will offer an innovative and unique company approach with a diverse range of high-quality products. Newport Leaf is a brand founded and led by a team of experienced and passionate women who are dedicated to breaking down barriers and shattering stigmas in the cannabis industry. They will proudly offer a safe and welcoming environment for all, focusing on empowering women and other marginalized communities. As a woman-owned business, they are committed to giving back to the community through partnerships with local nonprofits and initiatives supporting women's health and empowerment. If you could go to slide 3, please, Michelle. The leadership team draws on a variety of backgrounds and diverse leadership perspectives. The team is led by Ana Gallardo. Ana is an entrepreneur, experienced in marketing and working with social media influencers. Ana will be the architect of the customer journey and will handle the marketing for Newport Leaf. Joanna Riley is an experienced cannabis operator who will bring with her knowledge and skill set with some fresh ideas to focus on sourcing woman-owned brands and dealing with day-to-day operations. Erica Hsu has been in the cannabis industry for more than 5 years and seeks to bring that subject matter expertise to this store. Stepping into the leadership role, she will be involved in hiring, training, and maintaining staff. Ms. Hsu is present this evening and would like to address the commission briefly.
Good evening, Planning Commission members. My name is Erica Hsu. I was born and raised in Southern California. My parents ran a Chinese restaurant for over 35 years. I was always involved in the business, and I appreciate that it taught me the value of hard work. I studied psychology at Cal State Long Beach, and then went on to work in luxury retail at Louis Vuitton and Yves Saint Laurent at South Coast Plaza. I started off as an entry-level sales associate and was able to shine by helping increase sales and building an impressive client book. Eventually, I worked my way up to be an assistant manager. About 5 years ago, I exited the retail industry to go work in the cannabis space. I worked on the entitlement side as well as local and state licensing for all different types of cannabis uses, including manufacture, distribution, cultivation, and retail. I got into this endeavor because I wanted to be part of a women-owned brand and to apply what I have learned in customer service to a women-owned cannabis enterprise. I have always felt strongly about supporting and empowering women and underrepresented groups and their potential in business. I'm very excited to be here in the city of Costa Mesa with Ana Gallardo and Joanna Riley. Thank you.
If you could go to slide 4, please, Michelle. The goal of this enterprise is to become the go-to boutique cannabis retail destination in Costa Mesa. The shopping experience will feature a curated product mix developed by women for women. The model not only offers a fine cannabis selection of products, but seeks to identify and execute on opportunities for women in business. The executive mission will be to blend the concepts of elegance and design with a safe, welcoming shopping experience. The team is supported by Costa Mesa's woman-led Measure X brand, Yummy Karma and High Gorgeous. The team will work together to feature these brands and collaborate on unique ways to market to women. In combination with incentives for customers, there will be a focus to add value to the East Side neighborhood and support a walkable, bikeable downtown area. If you could go to slide 5, please, Michelle. The team held a community outreach event on January 10th, 2023. The event was held on-site and was attended by local business owners and residents that spoke favorably of the new enterprise. Subsequently, the team followed up with the local businesses and residents to discuss the business timeline, operations, and security. we were asked by all neighbors and all business owners to expand the scope of the security patrol. If you could go to slide 6, please, Michelle. To date, we have received support from the Persian restaurant, the 2 jewelry stores, and the nearest cannabis retail storefront. Newport Leaf understands that it is essential for them to have good relationships with their local businesses because they operate within the same community and can benefit from collaboration, mutual support, and networking. Building strong relationships with the other local businesses can lead to increased visibility, referrals, and partnerships that can help expand their customer base and boost revenue. By working together, local businesses can also help promote economic growth, stimulate job creation, and contribute to the overall prosperity of the community. If you could go to slide 7. Newport Watch Jewelry and Loan is the current business at the proposed site. The business owner has operated a successful business for nearly 20 years at the current location. They have firmly established a solid customer base, and we're actively seeking a new, smaller location to continue their business. Over time, they no longer rely upon the foot traffic and have more than enough customers to support their business. They have provided a letter of support for this project outlining their next steps. If you could go to slide 8, Michelle, please. This slide reflects the proposal for our exterior design. This slide shows the current footprint and helps illustrate some of the need for modernization. Our goal here is to maintain the ideal existing conditions and improve some additional features. We'd like to update and improve the traffic flow, modernize the landscaping. Our goal is to have a design and a functionality the city of Costa Mesa can be proud of. If you could go to slide 9, please, Michelle. This slide displays the interior of Newport Leaf. The small space is designed to enhance the boutique style of this enterprise. You could go to slide 10, please. The rear parking area will be greatly enhanced with the addition of 9 new California native drought-tolerant trees. The new landscaping features will beautify the view for adjacent neighbors. We have maintained the drive aisle and increased the size of the parking spots, along with adding an interior bike rack for the time being. Security lights will be added to protect the quality of life for the business and adjacent residents. If you could go to slide 11. The security plan has been approved by a third-party cannabis expert. We start with staff awareness and education, then layer that with surveillance, 24-hour licensed guard on staff, and barriers for deterrence. As previously mentioned, while canvassing the neighborhood, it became readily apparent that both the residents and business owners would like us to expand our security patrol to the public areas of the alley and sidewalk. We are going to collaborate with a nearby cannabis operator to work as a team on security monitoring. And with your approval, we would like to expand that security patrol to include the alleyway and the other public areas. If you could go to slide 12, please, Michelle. Why this location? This is a high visibility downtown space with 100,000 traffic count per day. The sensitive use buffers limited options in this retail corridor to only 4 qualified properties on this section of Newport Boulevard. If you could go to 13, please. Thank you for your time this evening, and the full ownership team is here and happy to answer any questions you may have this evening.
Okay, thank you very much, Mr. Glue. Commissioners, do you have any questions of the applicant? Starting with Commissioner Rojas.
First of all, thank you, Mr. Glue, for that presentation. Very
Of course.
professional as always. Very simple question on mine. I'm looking at the layout on the, what was slide 8?
Yes.
And it has 2 front door entrances. Are we gonna be using both of those? Or are we still keeping, are we gonna close the one in the common hall? I'm just curious, I'm not.
So the idea is that we would be utilizing one and the neighbor could be potentially using the other door. But we
Well,
don't
I
have
see.
any plans for that second door because it's a hallway, a common hallway.
Right.
Yeah.
So is that gonna be open or?
Yeah, it would be open.
So that one plus the front one that's right around the corner?
Correct.
That's, okay, that's all I wanted to know. Thank you.
Okay, thank you, Commissioner Rojas. And if I never mentioned it before, I'm sorry that you're still in the penalty box down there. Okay. Commissioners, any other questions of the applicant? Commissioner Vivar.
Yeah, just a quick question. So you mentioned the collaboration that you see happening between yourself and other local businesses. So how would that work in practice beyond opening date? Because I can tell that you reached out to the other business owners based on your presentation, but just wondering how those relationships would kind of continue to develop going forward as a kind of what you mean by business relationships, and whether or not any of that would include women-owned businesses as well, other women-owned businesses.
All right, so right now, the only other Costa Mesa-based woman-owned business that we've been able to connect with is Yummy Karma. And we're looking and actively seeking for relationships with other women-owned cannabis brands. We've identified approximately 30 of them. Be happy to list them off for you, but I'm assuming you probably don't want me to go through that entire list.
I guess I was curious about, because from what I understood in your presentation, business relationships were with the local other, businesses adjacent to you guys, next to you. So would you be working with them on, like you said, collaboration on safety and other
Yes.
things like that? Okay.
So specifically, we have talked to Dabari, which is the Persian restaurant. We've had probably 6 or 7 meetings with him. And the owner of that restaurant, we have talked about security patrols. That was one thing that he was very excited about. Actually, one of the neighbors who's present here tonight, a gentleman sitting right behind our crew, we spoke to him numerous occasions. He attended our community outreach event, and we've also did some door knocking with him and had conversations with him up to and including this evening, where he's indicated that he would be very favorable of us expanding our security patrol to include the alleyway, because it would help with some of the issues they have to deal with on a regular basis. We also have talked to the other jewelry store that's just down the block there. The owner's name is Steve. And we've had probably 15 conversations with him at this point. And he's pretty excited about having the cannabis as a neighbor, in the sense that he thinks that those businesses are complementary. So he does believe that there is a symbiotic relationship between his cash loaning enterprise and cannabis. So we intend to continue those relationships. There's obviously another cannabis shop going in, potentially others, that we would obviously network with and expand our security patrol and utilize their resources to be complementary. And that's the idea, to work together with the neighbors to have a happy block. And I think we've spent more time in those business owners' shops than any of their other neighbors in the past 6 months.
Okay, right. And would you see yourself working with non-cannabis women-owned businesses in the city as well?
Of course, we actually looked at the Coffee Dose model, and we think that they're a perfect example of a woman-led, woman-focused enterprise. And we're actually took a few tours of their enterprises and would like to kind of model ourselves after some of the ideas that they're utilizing.
All right, thank you, Mr. Glue, and that's it for me, Mr. Chairman.
Okay, thank you, Commissioner Vivar. Any other commissioners? All right, I think I'll ask a few questions, but if we could, Mr. Glue, I'd actually like to talk to the ladies for a little bit, if that's okay, if you wouldn't mind coming up. Thank you so much. I appreciate it. And thank you, Mr. Glue, for the presentation.
Sure, you're welcome.
Yeah. I'll start off by saying it wasn't lost on me that in the pictures in your applicant letter, all of the people in the pictures are women. And I thought that was a nice touch, by the way. I will ask, is the 24-hour security guard being split between your site and the jewelry store, in that it's going to be under contract to have to service both, or just one?
I believe it.
Yeah, you could. I know. I think the rest of the questions kind of go to them, but that one's the technical one.
So as we had talked about that earlier today, and I actually talked with the owner of the facility, Right now, the intention is if there are two businesses still operating, that there would be two guards, one for each enterprise.
Yep.
So we may, try and work in unison with them, but I think the security priority for them is a little bit different than it is for us. That goes as well for Steve's jewelry store. The presence of his security officer is more directed at being aware of the internal operations of that business. So ours would be both internal and external, so we would prioritize external to the degree that there's any collaboration.
Okay, perfect. Thank you. And I learned recently that Weed Maps has a filter in it that will actually tell you if it's a women-owned cannabis business. Did you know that?
I didn't know that. Did you know about that?
No?
That's great. That's
Okay. So that's not really a question, is it? Other than did you know that? So sometimes what we talk about up here is what's the competitive edge. We're now in this part of asking, well, now that you see so much competition in the city, what is it that you bring to bear that will be different from everyone else? And I leave that to you if you'd like to answer.
Yes, Chairman Arith, to answer your question, I believe that, we know women. We definitely know how to market to women. We plan to target women cannabis users. We also plan to, as Chris mentioned, we also plan to carry other women-owned cannabis brands such as Yummy Karma, Pure Beauty, THC Design, Garden Society, and Kiva, just to name a few. I think what will distinguish our retail from other cannabis stores is the elevated and warm and welcoming atmosphere we plan to provide our customers. We hope to provide a more one-on-one tailored shopping experience for everyone that walks in the door, where we take the time to ask questions, to get to know them. I feel like when you do ask the right questions and get to know them, that's when you know the right things to offer them when they come in. And even when they step out the door, I think we would want to stay connected with them. Ultimately, our goal is to make the interaction with the client feel less transactional and a lot more personal. So I think that's what would distinguish us from the other cannabis retail locations.
Okay, great. Thank you so much. And Ms. Riley or Ms. Gallardo, if you'd like to add anything, you're certainly welcome to. It's not scary. It's just public speaking. You're just on TV, that's all. No, but that's okay. Thank you very much. Those are all my questions. Thank you.
Thank you.
Commissioners, any other questions? No. Okay. All right. You're welcome to take a seat. Thank you. I will now open the meeting for public comments. If you'd like to speak to this item and you're in chambers, please come to the front to either podium and make your comment. All right. Seeing none, we'll move on to Zoom. Do we have anyone on Zoom, Anna?
No, we do not, Mr.
Or
Chairman.
on the telephone?
No, we do not.
Okay. Thank you. I'll go ahead and close the public comment portion of the public hearing. And commissioners, do you have any further questions for the applicant? Commissioner Vivar.
Oh, no questions. I just left my mic on. Sorry.
Okay, no, that's okay. All right. Mr. Glue, do you have any closing comments you'd like to make?
No, thank you again for your time.
Okay, thank you. Commissioners, do you have any further questions for staff? Commissioner Vivar.
Yeah, I guess I'll take advantage of the fact that Mr. Thomas is here. I just wanted to enlighten myself and my commissioner colleagues as well, and anyone listening to the bike concerns for bike racks that I brought up earlier. So, Mr. Thomas, you can confirm the 4 feet is required on the to be provided along city right-of-way, and so I take it that there probably wouldn't be any room for a bike rack in the front right, which is why the back is being considered.
So you're correct in that. In the specs for the bike racks that we're using in the city, we require a 6-foot by 2-foot clearance. So it needs to be 2 foot off of a wall, and then have 6 feet of linear clearance. And then, of course, we also adhere to ADA standards of 4 feet. But that particular sidewalk frontage on Newport Boulevard at 1860 Newport Boulevard is rather wide, and there would be opportunities for the city to place bike racks adjacent to the parking lane between parking stalls, and that would be at the request of the applicant if they were interested in that.
Okay, and is there a requirement that the bike rack has to be a certain distance from the entrance of the building or anything like that?
We try to get the bike rack as close as possible to the door to provide that access and make it a useful menu option in the menu of mobility options to our residents, but there is no actual requirement for that.
Okay. All right, I think that's it for me, Mr. Thomas. Thank you for being here tonight.
Thank you, Commissioner.
Thank you, Commissioner Rivar, and thank you, Mr. Thomas, for making your time up here. Commissioners, any other questions for staff? All right. Seeing none, I will now close the public hearing and ask the commission to make a motion. Motion made by Commissioner Vivar. What is your motion, Commissioner?
Sorry, technical difficulties. My motion is to approve planning application PA 22-02, I believe it was.
Yes.
And find that the application is exempt per CEQA guidelines, and I'm not sure if staff would like to fill in any bits that I'm missing to make a proper motion.
No, the exempt is enough. Thank you.
Okay. And that's my motion. Thank you.
Okay, thank you. So for the rest of the commission, I'll read because it seems to be as written. I'll go ahead and just reiterate it. It's to find that the project is categorically exempt from the provisions of the California Environmental Quality Act CEQA per CEQA Guidelines Section 15301 Class 1 existing facilities and approved planning application 22-02 subject to the conditions of approval. Is there a second? Seconded by Commissioner Rojas. Commissioner Vivar, do you have any comments on your motion?
Yeah, I just wanted to say that this seems like a very robust application, and business model has been thought through very carefully. So I think this is going to be a good business for its location. And I also did want to make a comment, a positive that I see in this business, in that when reviewing the section of the staff report that relates to the conformance of the application or the proposed business to the policies of the Costa Mesa Municipal Code, I have in the past commented up here about land use element 6.1, I believe it is, about, or 1. About the mix of land uses. And so the language mentions a mix of land uses and commercial goods and services, and I think sometimes maybe we gloss over that, and when we read application staff reports about applications that seem kind of similar, and it might just fade into the background. But I think that in this case, the fact that that the application will be returning the floor plan of the building as a whole to provide 2 units, and that the project results in that kind of mix of commercial goods and services, rather than the business going in and taking the entire building, every unit, and thus defeating the purpose of having multi-unit business buildings like this one that are supposed to provide a mix of land uses and commercial goods and services. So I think that it's interesting to point out that this is the first application I've seen where rather than swallow up 2 or 3 different tenant suites and knock down those walls and create one large business area, or projects that we may see in the future that may seek to take over an entire building that was meant for multi-tenant use, I think is a great win for mix of commercial goods and services in the this part of town. And so I just wanted to point that out, and that fact was not lost on me in reading the report, the staff report for this. And so just wanted to thank the staff for a great presentation, and the applicant for taking the time to speak to us about this project, which I'm happy to support tonight. Thank you.
Okay. Thank you, Commissioner Vivar. Commissioner Rojas.
I have no comments, sir. Thank you.
Okay. Any other commissioners wish to speak on this item? All right. Seeing none. Anna, if we could do the roll call vote, please.
That motion carries 7-0.
Okay, great. Thank you, Anna. That decision is final unless appealed to the City Council within 7 days. Good luck. Thank you. This brings us to old business, new business. There is no old business or new business, so we'll move on to departmental reports. Starting with Mr. Yang, Public Services. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Mr. Chairman, honorable members of the Planning Commission, good evening. For the Public Works Department reports, it is my pleasure to report for this Wednesday, April 26th, between the hours of 6 p.m. to 8 p.m., the city will host a virtual community meeting to discuss the storm drain system master plan. This will be the second meeting for this program, and this outreach meeting will give the opportunity for members of the public to discuss their issues, concerns, or whatever opinions with respect to the city's endeavor to improve and make better the storm drain system master plan. So once again, everyone in the community is welcome to join in this meeting, which is a virtual meeting through Zoom, and it will be this Wednesday, April 26th, from 6 p.m. to 8 p.m., and instructions to log on can be found on the city's website. So for the second report, it's just a reminder that the Public Works staff will present to the Planning Commission on May 22nd the conformity to the city's general plan, the one-year fiscal year 23-24, and the 5-year 23-28 CIP budgets. So just a reminder of that, and that's it for Public Works reports, and I defer back to the chair.
Okay, thank you, Mr. Yang. I do have one question for you. Has your department been collaborating with the Costa Mesa Sanitary District on any of the storm drains or any of the work going on? And if so, would you just kind of high level tell us about it, please?
So most certainly. In addition to the Costa Mesa Sanitation District, we also collaborate with Mesa Water District, Mesa Water, and also the Irvine Ranch Water District as well with respect to this project. And in terms of the Costa Mesa Sanitary District, we've met with individuals such as Mark Esker and other staff to discuss how some of the storm drain systems affect not really so much their sewer infrastructure, but how the drainage affects in terms of somewhere near their facilities. So these are just kind of the issues that we've met and continue to meet and discuss on a continual level. And their participation has not ended, and we continue to collaborate with them intensively.
Okay.
So thank you.
That's great, Mr. Yang. Thank you so much. Mr. Drapkin, if you'd like to give the Development Services report, please.
Nothing tonight.
Okay, thank you, sir. That brings us to Mr. Preziosi.
Nothing tonight, Chair.
All right. Thank you, Mr. Preziosi. Well, that brings us to the end of our meeting, and I will now adjourn the meeting to May 8th, 2023. Thank you for joining us this evening.